Hey, what is up? How are we doing today, Steve?
Definitely surprised with the Jalen Waddle trade. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we will definitely get to that. But first, we got to get to the chat. We got Scott here. We got Game Tight. That will that's a bag. You got most of that probably in the 130s, so it's probably
Yeah.
fine. 7 minutes. I posted 7 minutes to be in live. All the Broncos receivers are to the garbage heap. Thank you, Mike Rob. But we will attack the Waddle trade right after the intro.
Hey, hey, we're grinding through the torment. High volume, no management. Hey, hey, taming souls indecent. Grinding drafts through the abyss, no rest in our veins. Feel striking like lightning, flooding endless pains from late season voids. He's dropping all the flames. Best ball legions unite, shattering the chains. Old school RB stacking fury, derailing trendy trains. Who is commanding the storm etched in our brains? Who? Hey, thunder in the names, claiming all the kills, flames, names, games. Legion, wrath of fuse, stone age, torment remains. Best ball eternal, in remains infernal domain. Pterodactyl pigs screaming, Cayman chaos reigns. Fossil fury fuels the fire, drafted through the veins.
All right. Welcome back, Nice and Blunt. Thanks for popping in, Anthony. Anthony will be on Who's Crew this week on Thursday. We got Fanspeak, aka your sister, here. Yeah, so I think you and I are viewing the Waddle trade the same and much different at the same time.
Hmm.
So hold on a second. Tell them what you're thinking on it.
So my thoughts, I think the most important side is the Denver side right now, just because we have, that's where we've been drafting these guys. Jalen Waddle, I think, is a good receiver, and I think he absolutely is an upgrade for the Broncos. The problem is, I don't think he's a better receiver than Cortland Sutton in real life or fantasy. And he already was kind of going ahead of Sutton. I think Sutton does take a hit because Sutton's upside case is definitely lessened. But I don't think it dramatically changes Cortland Sutton because Sutton's role isn't impacted by Waddle at all. They're very stylistically different receivers, and that's good news for Bo Nix. For Waddle, though, I see him as a very, very good number two. He'll operate in and out of the slot, but get a lot of the underneath stuff, some deep targets. But he's always been a touchdown limited guy. His career high touchdowns is 8. And that was when literally everything went right for the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel's first year in Miami. So I just think that limits his potential and upside. I view him, I know his ADP is flying. I just did 2 drafts. He went like 40 and 41 both times. I just don't know how he's going there. I don't know how he's going ahead of, Mike Evans and, some of these other like top end receivers. If you want to make a case that he's safer than the rookies, I get that. But what I understand the least is him going dramatically like 20, 30 spots ahead of Cortland Sutton. Like that doesn't make any sense to me from a fantasy perspective.
So I'm going to kind of agree and kind of disagree. So number one, I think Waddle is a much better real life receiver than Cortland Sutton. Number two, so I brought this up. So like Jalen Waddle doesn't run out of the slot very much. So like what that means is that the slot is very open there. So whoever out of Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant, my bet is Pat Bryant, is going like they're going to be in the slot. And that is kind of big for fantasy. So like I do think that all of them down the board should definitely fall. Like I do think that Pat Bryant should fall. I do think that Troy Franklin should fall, and I don't think Marvin Mims is draftable at all now. But I had Waddle at 60 ahead of Cortland Sutton by like 5 spots anyway. Now I moved him up to like where like I did move him up, but I just moved him ahead of the rookies, like other than Carnell Tate, and like ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. So like I have him in the middle of the 5th basically, or the like 52 or something. But like somebody was saying that Leg Up, I think it was FK Coolers, Leg Up has him at 28.
That's insane. Like
And Fantasy Dog Pound earlier, like when he went live, he was like, I don't want to overstep, but he was all about it. And I think he took him in the middle of the fourth, and like he was just talking. He was kind of saying what you're saying, like that Cortland Sutton should drop, but not that much. I seen last year, and we disagree on this, and this is the big thing. Like I think that we seen like them moving the offense away from Cortland Sutton in the last two games of the regular season and in the playoffs. And I think that this move is really, really bad for Cortland Sutton. But I was already thinking that Bryant and Franklin, and I'm a Bryant slappy, so you take it for what it's worth. I was already thinking that we were going to see some of that. And yes, Sutton got all the routes, but he didn't get any of the looks. Like he didn't get any volume in those weeks. Like, because he was like 85+% routes on all those weeks.
mm-hmm.
So like it could have just been that the defenses were doubling him, stuff like that. I didn't look into that. Maybe that's what happened. But in my eyes, either way, like Waddle's an outside receiver. Sutton's absolutely an outside receiver. I think the slot and the slants are wide open, and that's what Sean Payton was saying about Pat Bryant whenever he drafted him, is that he reminded him of Michael Thomas, right? Who was a slot slant guy.
Yeah.
So I think that although I'm moving him down the board, I do think that Pat Bryant's outlook looks pretty well. I know that Franklin was way more consistent last year, but I think one of those two picks is going to be a fantastic pick. Like I'm not going to take zero Franklin. I think that one of those two picks is going to be the best pick in the wide receiver room of the Broncos. If it's going to be in the middle of the fourth, and Sutton's going to stay in the sixth at the 6-7 turn or whatever, I'm in on whichever one's the cheap one. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, my concern there is now I think you've. So I looked at it, and this is what I said at the top of my show: is you had Sutton as the one, the X, the alpha, and then you had three guys essentially vying for two spots, the 2 and the 3 role. That's what it was. Now I think Sutton kind of remains in his role again. Maybe slightly his upside case is less, and Waddle is the clear 2. Like I think this becomes a clear 1A, 1B. Like Brown, Devonta, etc. But now the 3 role, which can be a very valuable role, now has 3 guys vying for it. So, and I know you're like totally out on Mims, but unless they move Mims, I don't think the Broncos are totally out on Mims is the problem.
Yeah. I think that, I think the biggest loser of this trade is Evan Ingram. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like I could see them just like removing tight end completely from their offense at this point.
Yeah,
or just
Adam Troutman could just be a blocker,
like I think that them adding another pass catcher and them having viable receivers. I do think that maybe Franklin. I don't think it'd be Franklin, but I could see Mims getting traded for like a late pick at some point.
Yeah, and that is something to keep in mind. I would not be surprised if one of those 3 receivers ends up getting dealt maybe on draft day. Like the day 2 or day 3 of the draft. So that can change things.
Like the Broncos just spent a 3rd round pick on a player who most people didn't have going to the 3rd on Bryant. I don't think it'll be him. And Franklin is the college teammate of Bo Nix, and they're good friends. So I don't like. I think if one gets moved, it has to be Mims, just with those things, because they're not going to get a return on investment on Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
And Mims is going to be a free agent after this next year anyway, right?
Yeah.
Because this is his 4th year, and he wasn't a 1st round pick, so they can't do the option thing. So I would think that if they're going to move somebody, it would absolutely be him. Just from like a basic knowledge of how teams would do this.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like they're not going to get a return on investment. Maybe Franklin would be the only one where they'd maybe get a return. He was a 4th rounder, so you might be able to trade him for an actual 4th rounder. Where Bryant, I think you'd have to trade him for a 4th or 5th. Mims, you'd have to trade him for a 4th or a 5th, or maybe later. And those were 2nd and 3rd round picks. So Franklin would be the one where you maybe get actual investment because he's coming off the best year of the 3. and still would have 2 years remaining. But
Yeah. And
I agree. Like they're going to have to just probably move somebody.
yeah, and Sus is saying there that Mims is too good at special teams, and that's something I hadn't thought about either. But I would like I don't know if Franklin's ever played for special teams, but I don't know. Maybe they just keep all of them. Like, and so the biggest thing is like Bo Nix is an absolute and clear winner. Like
Mhm.
nobody's arguing that. I think the underrated winner of this is actually J.K. Dobbins. Like that entire
Yeah,
offense is
I
going
agree.
to move. They're going to be in the red zone all the time. They signed him to a pretty big deal. Are like they were trying to trade for everybody now with RJ Harvey. So like he's been falling. I think J.K. Dobbins is very live for 10 plus touchdowns.
No,
So
I think it helps him, and just it should help their offense just be better in general. Like get in scoring position more, convert drives where you had to settle for field goals for more scoring opportunities, and then having a receiver, two viable outside receivers, and both who can work down the field. It will safeties are going to have to be very, very live to play deeper, which could just open up more running lanes for Dobbins. So
yeah, no, I think Dobbins is the clear winner here. Like to be like whenever I was thinking about it earlier, I was like, nobody's bringing up Dobbins, but
yeah, no,
like
I think that's a good point.
yeah, like I really like I was already kind of in on Dobbins, but and I don't know, like I've liked Dobbins. I know he goes later, but I've liked him more than Corum and Manungai the entire time. So like I think I'm just willing to click him all the way up there. Um, like all the way to basically like I think I would like I kind of think that what's going to happen with Rico and Jalen Waddle or Jalen Warren, I kind of think that Harvey and Dobbins should be more like that, but a little later, maybe. I don't know. Probably maybe I don't know. The 8-9 turn for all four of them kind of sound right, honestly.
Yeah,
Like to be honest with like, and Dobbins goes 2 rounds later than that, so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm probably going to have a whole bunch of that. Yeah, and first game leader, by the way. And by the way, the Mims smash game in the playoffs happened because Pat Bryant got hurt. Uh, both times that like Mims led that. Like I remember specifically because the guy on PFF was talking about betting Marvin Mims at 100-1 for most receiving yards, and like the first X amount of plays all went to Pat Bryant. It was all designed for him, and then he got out and he got hurt, and then that happened again whenever he came back. So
yeah.
like I think this is kind of more of a hey, if this becomes an issue with Bryant, we need an answer. But they went out and got like the most volatile answer you could as well. Like
I know, and that I think is what surprised me the most. Not that I thought the Broncos had the strongest wide receiver room. Definitely didn't have like as I said, like a clear number two, but it felt like such a high floor with those three guys because all three have some level of talent and ability. Mims is a little bit more gimmicky, gadgety, but has had some explode spike weeks here. We've seen Franklin was much more solid guy this past year, and Bryant in a flash of times as well. So it just seemed so. They were not a team that I really thought was going to make a serious investment at the wide receiver position for that reason. And they just given Sutton such a big contract last year. So yeah, it's a shock to me.
I mean, we know that Sean Payton historically spreads the ball out like crazy, like just like crazy.
Yeah.
And saying that any wide receiver in a Sean Payton offense should be going at 28, I think is way too far. Like if you want to argue between like JMO, Igbuka, that group, like I will see some arguments there. But whenever you go up there and you're taking them like ahead of like, and was not on this board, but like ETN and
Mm-hmm.
Josh Jacobs and those players, like Absolutely not for me. Just
Yeah.
like I don't know. So like, and this is the other thing. The big fallout is over on the other side. I'm
Yeah.
actually going to move uh Titans or Jordan Tyson and Makai Lemon both down because I believe they're both very alive to go to a horrible Dolphins offense. Like I think that it's almost a guarantee that at 13 or at 12 they take one.
I think they're 11, right?
Yeah, that's right
Yeah.
there.
But yeah, no, I do have some mixed feelings on this because, as I said, look at the last 2 years. Malik Neighbors honestly had the worst landing spot of all the rookies, and he had the best outcome. Last year, you could say T Mac had the worst landing spot. Golden got Jordan Love and the Packers, and Buko with Baker, etc. And he was good, because all the balls just went in his direction. And same with Neighbors. Like it's easier for that guy to get not. I mean, Neighbors had like a 34% target share. That is insanely high. But it would not be surprising to see Tyson, Lemon, somehow Tate falls there. Or may the Dolphins make a slight move up to draft Tate, because they see him as their guy. Like he could get 25% target share very easy there. And yeah, it's bad offense, but where he's going is not necessarily bad because that's lower than where T-Mac was going last year. T-Mac was going in the 40s. And
Right.
of course, Neighbors was going like late 20s. He was the 2-3 turn his rookie year. So if you look at it from that perspective, not that any of these guys are at Neighbors level, but honestly, it's just
but
a volume standpoint.
like Malik Willis is a much worse quarterback than what I expected. Like even last year, whenever I thought it was going to be Dart, like I think Malik Willis is miles behind what Jackson Dart to me was going to be.
Oh, I meant Neighbors
So,
his rookie year, the Daniel Jones.
oh yeah,
and,
yeah, okay,
the Italian Stallion and Drew Lock. That trio.
and like I think that Bryce Young is going to be a better quarterback than that as well. And yeah, if Flyfish is correct, like talent largely drives targets. And I think that like so my very first mock, I went into the second round a little bit, and I had the Dolphins taking Chris Bell because it's a player that they can act like they're trying to make their team better and still tank at the same time. And I think
Mhm.
I would be shocked if Chris Bell's there at the like 52nd pick or whatever, the 53rd pick, I think it is. I would be shocked if the Dolphins don't just take him because they need multiple receivers. So
Oh, and no, I agree. I think they got like 5 picks down the first 3 rounds.
yeah,
I would be shocked if 2 of them weren't receivers.
yeah, absolutely. The mainstream media doesn't want to know Malik Willis completed 85.7% of his passes last year, a very sustainable number. Yeah, like he's never had a game of over 24 target or
Yeah.
passes, right? Something like that. Yeah. And like Christian Watson, like was just open all the time last year as well. So that helped quite a bit. So anything else you want to touch up on here with the Jalen Waddle stuff?
I guess my one concern is like, how do you feel about the touchdown upside of Waddle?
I think that it's bad for Sutton. Because it's another real threat. And I think that the re-signing of Dobbins, because early on in the season, it was only Sutton and Dobbins that was like useful. They're going to have more than that useful. We're going to have another year. I guess Franklin was good at the beginning of the year last year as well. But we're all like RJ Harvey is going to be in the second year. They're going to use him, although everybody hates him right now. He's still going to get some touchdowns.
Sure.
I think that Waddle is solid in the red zone. Like that's not his strong suit, but I think that he's going to be fine. Um, I don't think you can look at because like whenever it was Tyreek and Waddle, wasn't Waddle the red zone target like always down there? Like,
Mm,
and he played out of position. I guess not.
I don't think so.
He only had well, he had 8 touchdowns in 2022. That was the year that Tyreek lit it up, and then he had
Yeah.
4, and then he had 2. So, but last year, like, and then last year he had 6. Um, so I don't know, like, but last year also he was the only guy there. So I get it. Like something didn't feel right last year with at the end of the year with Cortland Sutton. Like it looked like his body positioning was all off and like it didn't look the same. I don't know what it was. Something looked weird.
Yeah.
Maybe he
No,
was
I
hurt.
mean, there
Maybe he was
was he did seem to drop the ball more late. Also, had a
yeah.
couple of bad drops that I recall. But I just for me, I just still see him, and I know it ended poorly. But to your point, like the last couple of weeks, he only had 40 yards versus Kansas City, but he did have 10 targets. And then
Yeah.
the last game against the Chargers, that was kind of a meaningless game. They didn't fully play.
It was not a meaningless game at all. They needed to win it to secure. But like the Chargers did sit everybody.
Yeah, the
And,
Chargers.
like they
That's
had
what I
to.
meant.
They still had to win.
But
The Broncos did, and like they kind of struggled in that game, didn't they?
it was 19-3. I'm trying to remember that game. I was visiting family, so I don't remember it entirely.
So that game I remember, like it was one of those games that like the Broncos should have won by like 30 points,
Okay.
but they just kept having mental mistakes over and over, and like a bunch of that was like drops. Like I don't know how many drops or if he had any, if he
Sutton only
specifically
got
had
2
drops.
targets that game. That was definitely his worst game of the year.
Yeah, like I do think that they pulled some people later because they noticed that the Chargers couldn't do anything because the Chargers literally rested everyone.
Yeah, that's
So,
what I remembered that, and
but
I honestly don't remember that game too much.
I think the game was close at the end. Like or going into like it was one of those that there was a turnover at like 10 to whatever, and then there was another turnover back to back. Maybe I'm remembering the game was closer than we thought, and then it kind of pulled away at the end. Let's look it up.
Because it was a Trey Lance game, and
Broncos, Chargers.
so I'm looking at it now. It's very wild.
Yeah,
game.
so yeah, like I was saying, I thought it was 10-3, and then like I believe that the Chargers like got a turnover like in the red zone and couldn't do anything with it. And like over here, it was one of those games that like if it was an actual game on the Chargers side, it would have been like probably a bad game. Like because the Broncos had a couple games where they just completely laid eggs, and this was one of them.
Mhm.
But the Chargers didn't play anybody, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bo Nix only had 141 yards. He was the only quarterback that game. When Evan Ingram's your wide receiver 1, things didn't go well.
That's very wild looking at it.
Yeah, Broncos stats here. Jaleel McLaughlin, RJ Harvey 1.9 yards per carry, and McLaughlin had 6.8. That's weird. Bryant 4 for 31, Mims 2 for 10, Sutton 1 for 5 with only 2 targets. Like, I don't know if he's set. Maybe he's set. I don't know. Like maybe he's at the back half. So another thing I was wanting to mention is what are you doing with Malik Washington? Because I know they're adding people, right? Like we know that's going to happen. But I still think that he should move way up your board to like a wide receiver 2 range, right? Like I'm moving him to like 170. Like not like to where Jerry Jeudy is, basically.
Yeah,
Like
let's see where.
a little behind Jerry Jeudy. Like I moved Franklin and Bryant down to like down around like Trey Harris and Tesla. And then I moved Malik up above those a little bit.
So I guess my concern is, I moved him to 198, and I might move him a little higher than that. My concern is two things. One, if the season started today, I don't even know if he is he in the top 3? Sure, but he might be 3. I mean, I don't think a Jalen Tolbert or 1-2 combo is great, but they might.
Right.
Because Malik Washington, remember, was a Mike McDaniel guy, and he was a guy that we were all excited with, that Mike McDaniel could utilize him. I don't know if Bobby Sloak's going to do the same thing. And my bigger concern is, I think they sign any free agent and he becomes their one. Then they draft anyone, and then that's your 1 and 2. They could have signed Hollywood Brown today, and he would be the clear number 1 on the team.
I don't. I disagree there. I think if they sign Hollywood Brown, Malik's easily the one.
Really, I guess he had some gadgety stuff that was fun, but he didn't take on. I don't know. He didn't take on a huge role with the Tyreek stuff. His production to me is just very flat.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe I just want it to happen, but so the other part about it is Malik Washington also becomes a low-owned option because he wasn't drafted 100% of the time either. So you get some low-owned leverage on top of it, which is the reason I'm moving him aggressively up. If it misses, it misses. We're drafting picks in the last round,
for sure.
Right? We just won a couple weeks, if maybe 1 week. And Jalen Tolbert's also in that same line. If you like him, whatever wide receiver you like the most on the Dolphins right now, I think should be moved up to around Jerry Jeudy, if not higher.
Mm-hmm.
But we're expecting the Dolphins and the Browns to both add pieces. So whether in free agency or in the draft.
Agreed. Yeah.
So, all right. Are we ready to move on to the topic about running back workloads? I was having a hard time really finding information on this. I don't know about you, but figure we'll start with the Bears. So the idea is basically take the kind of split backfields or the teams that had so basically like this, Manun guy had 455 snaps to DeAndre Swift's 594, and then Judge ADP kind of based on that and the offense as a whole, right? And why are people like Kyron Williams a good or bad pick, or why is Amari Hampton a good or bad pick? And the Hamptons, it's all weird because you can't really do this with a lot of the offenses because a lot of the offenses have brand new coordinators and head coaches. So you can't really 1-for-1 a lot of that stuff because nothing matters this year. You can't look at Arizona's stats from last year and project any of them into this year. At all.
Definitely not.
At all. So the Dolphins running back up should be moving up. Yeah, I do need to do that too. I need to add Jalen Wright, and I've been taking Ollie here and there, but I think Jalen Wright could end up just being RB2 or 1 there as well. And by the end of it. So this is something that has been a hot topic. You and I both don't like Manette guy, and we both really like Swift.
Yeah.
And looking at this, DeAndre Swift, he played in 16 games. He got 57%. It was 57.8% of the snaps. Actually, it was week 4. No, it was week 10. It was week 10 that he missed. Swift missed week 10. Select all. Week 10. Can we remove it instead of add it, please?
I think it did. Look up a no. What?
There.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
There it is. All right, because the none guys are 41.3 here. I assume I haven't looked at this yet. I assume it drops quite a bit if you remove the 1 week he was the lead back. Assuming I didn't kill the website.
You confuse the hell out of it.
Yeah.
No, so my thought before while this loads with Monanga is just he's always went like maybe a round too high, like just because there's not a huge upside. I think he's got a great floor, and I want some of them, but he always to me should have been like in the 100 range. So I actually think, if I'm not mistaken, I actually think Fantasy Points does their snap share. So if a player plays 17 games, that's what it is. But for a guy like Swift, and by the way, that does include the playoffs, so that changed it slightly.
Yeah.
Because now you see the 17 versus 18 games.
Which I think we can use it because they were trying.
Yeah.
They weren't not trying in those.
Oh
weeks,
no,
and
they were using both in there, which I think is indicative. But I think they actually adjusted for like a guy like Swift. I don't think when guys miss time, they don't take it against the player. They give the snap share for when they're healthy.
Well, right, but
like if you look at Rashee Rice, his target share is like 25%, and it's just not reality.
It's just a snap share versus a snap share like in there.
Yeah.
But like the reason I wanted to do that is because Manun guys, like the week that Swift, like I only want to look at weeks that both of them were there.
Yeah.
To see what percent Manun guy got, because let's say he got 75% the week that Swift was unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
That would lower this number by a lot.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened because this number basically said the same, which is kind of weird, actually. So DeAndre Swift had 644 snaps, and Manun guy had 495 snaps out of basically the same. Like it's weird that the team snaps are different, but because it should be the same amount of weeks. But I don't know. What is that actually? Team total snaps. Yeah.
So it somehow is still keeping the week 10 in there. I don't know why.
Well, it wouldn't be.
It shouldn't from what it shows, but
we'll redo it.
That's what it seemed like.
Yeah. So, but anyway, like basically, like whatever stat we were looking at, it looks like it's 57 to like 40%, essentially, right? And I agree with you. I don't think Manun guy is like an unclickable price, like a round later. And he's actually fell a full round over the last week and a half.
Yes.
And I think he's and like Blake Corum now is going around 110. Yep. And I think he's a really good pick around 110. I didn't like him at 90. I'll tell you that. I didn't like him at all at 90. So yeah. All right, we're back. I don't know. It's being stupid. But
I don't know about the team snaps, but I think this is a fair snapshot. I'm not sure exactly why there's such a 70 or 80 snap difference, but
I added week 10 back in, and that's why it went way up.
Okay.
So like he actually got less snaps the week.
I mean that's just something seems off there.
Yeah.
I think we know what the snapshot is here. Essentially 58 versus 40, a little over 41.
41. Yeah.
And that's how I view it. I view this offense very similar to what Ben Johnson did with Gibbs and Monty. This is the poor man's version of that. But I thought Monangai, for a 7th round rookie, played extremely well and filled in that 1 week incredibly well, and then just got better and better throughout. And we had a couple games, and Meg did a breakdown talking about some of these kinds of backfields, and like the Bears between these two backs, I think it was all but like 2 weeks they had a usable week, and there were multiple weeks where one would have a spike and one would have a usable week. So
yes,
there's a lot of viability for some of these backfields, and I think your and I's point all along has been the price. And the good news is because of like the Dowdle, the Nalgier, a few others, it's now pushing these good, but clear number 2 backs down around a round and a half.
Right. So to this right here, like this is exactly what I was saying at the start. You literally cannot have this conversation with last year's stats. Number one, they weren't going against each other. Number two, like we have a different head coach. Number three, we have a different entire offense going in. And like, so like none of the information from last year can be translated over at all in my eyes. Like you can look at what you could project whatever you want. Like in my eyes, I think Algiers the clear one. Like I think I think it's gonna be a split like this. Kind of. Like I do think that Connor's gonna get a good chunk, but I don't think that I think that Algiers gonna get the bulk of it.
So I do think, and what the difference what he was saying is the high value touches, those red zone touches could be more split there. Where here, like just looking inside the 5 here, Swift 28 snaps, Monangai 24. So it's very even, but you would expect a 60-40 split across the board. It's not. Like Monangai has this touchdown upside where even at 40%, and this is what Monty had, where even at being 40-45%, he could get 8 touchdowns. He could get 10 touchdowns on a good offense. Issue with the Cardinals is it's probably not a good offense.
Right.
But it does, the gap there, I think, is a bit more concerning because what if James Conner just ends up with more touchdowns? Not to totally derail to the Cardinal side, but Conner probably will have the passing volume. Like here, it's much more even split. Like Swift has the majority passing, Monangai has the better touchdown upside, so it balances out some. There, you run the risk where Algier gets more total work, but if the touchdowns inside the 5 becomes kind of a split, and Conner has the bigger passing work, then that ADP gap is probably just totally wrong.
Yeah. Let's not kill last season stats and stuff so quickly. Yeah, like I use them, but I just say you can't 1-for-1 every stat.
No.
Like it is what I'm saying. Like it doesn't mean that they don't have value. It just means that if we're talking about just the workload and what that offense done, you can only look at the current, like what the backfields that are the same as they were last year, essentially, for direct correlation. Yeah. If it's not that, it's like you can go back and you can look at what did Mike McDaniel do at over 4 years at Miami versus what Harbaugh done at college, and like try to meld all that stuff together. I don't have that information, so I'm not doing that because I can't. So yeah, I think exactly what you said is right though. Like both of them have the ability to spike. DeAndre Swift will be the one that gets the receiving game work, which is why he gets the and Monangai is a fine he's a fine pass catcher. He's just not a good one. And Swift is actually a pretty solid one. So I think that DeAndre Swift is the clear one and Monangai is the clear 2, but that doesn't mean that it's going to score that way every week. And both of them, if the other one goes down, are going to be monsters, I think.
Yeah.
So like I definitely want some of both. And a very similar situation to that is the Rams. And like we watched it all last year with and by the way, both of these players played all 17 games, which is wild for a running back room.
Now, this one you might want to take the playoffs out because Kyron had a much bigger workload share in the playoffs.
He did.
I mean, I think that does directionally still show like he's the one. Nothing's changing. But in terms of what we can expect from a fantasy output, I think it's probably better to look at it this way.
Yeah, and to talk on this, like everybody knows my take. He has to be there at 5 for the Giants to take him.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. Like, I fully believe that the Titans will without a doubt take him. And I'm starting to believe that the Cardinals may take him as well.
That would be very
Like,
bad for Algeria and Connor.
oh yeah, no, that would be awful. Like, so, and the reason why I'm starting to believe that they may do
wow.
it is because like it actually got worse.
Yeah, I did not expect that.
Well, it's because like I think if you took out the first 5 weeks,
That's true. Like Kyron really,
like I think if you did this, it would like the snap share would go closer because Kyron did start the season off as the main, and then it kind of narrowed out throughout the rest of the season. If I remember what we
well, the other thing you had happen is you had some of these blowout games where Kyron just wasn't playing in the second half.
correct, yeah.
So that really was more later because they had some early close games, including like losses to the Eagles and stuff.
No, it's just 60-40 everywhere.
Wow.
Or 60-30.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't matter what we're doing. Like, and by the way, I've finally got in on Kyron a little bit. Like he's fallen in the middle of the like I've got him at like 35 to 40 now, a bunch. Like as soon as it turns to the fourth round, I will take Kyron almost every click. I don't really like taking him over those wide receivers because I don't know about you, but I kind of like McMillan, AJ Brown a little higher, like quite a bit more than the running backs around the corner, and then like the wide receivers at like after that, I think I'd rather have the running back, and I do think that RB is a better position overall. But
yeah. No, I mean AJ Brown, I have a tough time just because there's so much uncertainty where he ends up going if he does get traded. But yeah, I'm bullish on Kyron just because of the consistency that we see with him.
Yeah.
Like he does it in all phases. He catches the ball, touchdowns, going to get 1,200 plus yards. It's 3 straight years of 220 plus points. Like it's very consistent. It's still great offense as long as he stays healthy. I think it should be fine. But we did see Quorum show that he can produce in his opportunities. I actually thought this was closer to 60-40.
I thought so as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up something else in another. So back to the Arizona thing for them. I kind of wonder if the reason they're bringing Brissett back is to try to get the first overall pick next year, and that they're going to run back the exact program that the Raiders had last year, and that's take the elite running back and not give them a line, and then have the offense fully ready in year 2.
Well, then people should not be taking Jeremiah Love at the turn.
Yeah, like I don't think that's what's happening, but teams do really dumb things all the time, and this would absolutely fit that, right? So what would you say? Over 50 total rushes, right? Probably a good like filter for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50. Like I think that like we're just kind of looking for anything really. Like I don't want to get the 1s and 2s here. So if we go to Rams, by the way, they only Jarquez Hunter had 0 rushes. And Ronnie Rivers only had 7. So, like, it didn't really matter. But whenever we look at other people. So, like, what I was wanting to look at is the inside, the success rate stuff. Yeah. So, the success rate stuff, like, is pretty close. The stuff rate, Kyron is better at doing that. So Blake Corum is actually better at the missed tackles forced per attempt. And like watching the game, it does like look like Corum does more, but it's kind of like it's not to the level of Kenneth Walker at anything, but like he does seem to like create a negative play here and there by doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Not as often as Kenneth Walker used to, but it is something that you noticed a little bit. So he was way better at man and gap. So I wonder if they're going to notice that and they're going to start moving him in whenever they run man and gap. Specific, like Kyron is the same all across. but Corum specifically is not good at zone.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing. And then we can go to the Bears real quick since we just looked them up. And we'll probably be able to. So that's crazy low on stuff rate for both of them, right?
Yeah, I think that's a Ben Johnson stat for sure.
Yeah, that's a Ben Johnson stat.
Creates such good running lanes. I mean, go back to that Eagles game where they both ran for over 100 yards, Black Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I mean, Eagles are one of the best defenses in the league. And I think they're missing one guy, but it's like they just ran right through them.
And once again, the other back is the better man gap guy. And this one, it's actually flipped, though. Actually flipped.
But it also makes more sense stylistically. For
it does. It does.
They are.
Right. All right. So back to the snap stuff. What is another team you want to look at, that we can? We could do Broncos, sort of.
I was just going to say them. Obviously, we need those early games.
We had to remove the last so many games, right? What week did Dobbins get hurt? Was it
11 or 12? I can't remember which one.
We'll just do 11. I guess we need to remove the playoffs as well. So, and this is also not a completely fair thing either, because Harvey was a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not completely fair. And then we could look at because you could just maybe project J.K. Dobbins getting hurt again, right? That could absolutely
through week 10, but still.
Okay. Yeah. So even with that, we got a 51% snap share, 32, and then because he's Sean Payton, he mixes in 2 random people. And guess what? Jaleel McLaughlin just re-signed yesterday. So that's another 12%. They love him. They love him.
They do.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
All right. So Kyron with the most left on 1,500 Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And he's going the same spot he did, the same exact spot he was last year, but his running back number is down by 5.
Yeah.
And he did nothing so the Rams do this. They rotate series, but they always start every half with Kyron. So Kyron generally gets way more carries and snaps because it's alternating. And then every once in a while, on a long play, they'll move in a back. But very rarely do they even do that. Or if there's a specific play. I've seen that once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
That answer to me is Jerome Ford, I think, at this point. I think that they're going to take somebody somewhere.
If it's not Love, I think 3rd round is very likely for him.
I like your idea of trading next year's first for Achane, and I think the Dolphins would be up for it.
Yeah, I could see something along those lines.
Not a Tet fan. I totally get that. As somebody with pretty good current exposure, that's how I'm feeling. The drop in usage 65% is definitely concerning, but it explains the first round price. Yeah, does Davis Webb at OC solve the annoying? I mean, I don't think it does.
I'd be worried that it does. I would hope at wide receiver it will be Sutton and Waddle, and then the third will be whoever. Running back, who knows?
Yeah, and they drafted RJ Harvey to be an elite guy, and we know that because they spent 2nd round capital on a guy nobody else had 2nd round capital on, except maybe the Jaguars, right? But they did not they didn't use him as it, and let's look at. I will go back to this other page. So talk about that workload real quick.
So the Dobbins Harvey, I think you see it here, is a pretty big split, you see the rushing split was huge. And while passing you'd think would be Harvey's game, Dobbins still had more passing snaps because Harvey is a rookie, and Tyler Batty almost got as many.
Yeah.
So not great there. But the big thing here was the inside the 5. In this sample, Harvey even has one extra game, and yet Dobbins like doubles him essentially in inside the 5 snaps. So
Yeah.
that's where the touchdowns are made. They did scheme up a couple of Harvey touchdowns inside the 5, even when Dobbins was healthy. But it's just, I think that's much tougher to project.
Yeah, and like the Harvey passing snaps were a lot more in the red zone than they were outside of the red zone, if I remember right. But then that was at the back half of the season as well.
Yeah.
But this is removing that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's add all those weeks in and see how much different it is. And by the way, Kanye, that's a really good call. That's another reason. If the Titans take Jeremiah Love, they can cut Pollard, save $8 million.
Mm-hmm.
And now Pollard's a free agent, and it would actually make a lot of sense for the Commanders to take him.
Oh, I agree.
That would be a really, really good fit. And it's a good stylistic fit for Pollard as well.
Yeah.
And
I mean, me, that's why I'm anti-JCM right now, just because there's just so many ways he can keep getting more and more replaced.
So RJ Harvey, whenever you add in the entire season, he jumps up to 42%, and Dobbins obviously stays the same, and the other two jump up a little bit. And you see that his inside the 5 went way up, and his passing game went way up. So, if we remove all the weeks that Dobbins was there, right, and we go to just this, it's going to look really, really juicy. But Dobbins is back.
Exactly.
The market wasn't pricing it as Dobbins was back at launch. So I'm still I don't know about you, but I think Harvey needs to drop another entire round.
No, I agree. It's just, I just don't think he's going to. I think his passing volume probably increases this year. Last year, I think it was low initially, in part because he was a rookie. It probably would have not increased as much as it did here without Dobbins, but it probably would have gone up in the back half regardless. But I just can't trust that inside the 5, inside the 10 usage.
Yeah.
I think Dobbins is going to get quite a bit of that. Harvey will get some schemed up, some fun stuff, some third down, third and goal from the 7. Yeah, it's probably RJ Harvey in there. But overall, I just think Dobbins is going to get more of the truly high value touches and just more total carries in general.
This is a hot take, but I think I like Dobbins straight up over Harvey.
I don't think it's that crazy. I mean, definitely at ADP, and I've said this with some other situations. And I said this about the Cardinals. When we turn over the cards week 17, no pun intended there. But when it's all said and done, week 17, Connor could outscore Algier. That is in the realm of possibilities. And I think it's very much in the realm of possibilities that Dobbins outscores Harvey. And the other one that we haven't talked about yet is Dowdle and Warren. I think Dowdle, if they're both healthy, Dowdle should outscore Jalen Warren.
Right. So I'm going to touch on this comment. So they don't need to be an $8 million market for Pollard because Pollard as a post June 1 cut, the team just saves $8 million, and then he becomes a free agent at that point, and any team can sign him to whatever contract they want. So it's not that he doesn't have to sign for $8 million. He could sign for 3.5.
Yeah.
So I think that I think you were mistaken on how that works, or because it's not that they're trading for him. It would be that he gets cut post June 1 and then he resigns. All right. So as somebody who had both Denver RBs in your redraft league, there's no question I was starting Dobbins every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harvey's just way too volatile.
Yeah. And And by the way, I'm going to look at that comment. Apparently, Travis Etienne, aka Achan, was because my whole thing's been, why have you waited till now? Like as I was getting ready to go live, Pepper Tony put something in my Discord to where it was him in college trying to explain how to say his last name.
Yeah,
So I'll have to I'll have to look at it then. But until I looked at that, it's still ETN. But after this stream, I'm going to look at it, and I'm assuming that it's absolutely correct. But like, I'm gonna look at it, and if it is, I'm gonna be like, okay, I was wrong. I'll call him by the name he actually asked about originally.
it is wild to me, but
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, Tennessee might be open to it, but Pollard might not. Pollard could say, "Cut me," and maybe I will get more than that and get the opportunity,
right
somewhere else.
Well, like they have to cut him first, and then I mean, they could rework his deal.
They can rework like what James Conner and Aaron Jones did.
Yeah. All right, so let's go over another back. So, like, the Steelers are another example of one of these that we can't look at last year's stats and try to decipher what may happen.
I actually think we should look, and it is a new coaching staff, but I think we could look at 2024 and 2023 because I think the Najee Warren split is much more likely the scenario.
Well, right, like I get that, but we could just go look at 2023 and then go to Steelers.
And that was Warren's best year. Before this last year was 2023.
Yeah, and by the way, this is like I do think that this is stylistically because like Dowdle is a little bit more like Najee, but he has way more pass catching ability than Najee, and I think it's pretty bad for Jalen overall. Like, I don't know where I want to take them both, but yeah. And we could do this with whatever. Like, we could go back to the Cardinals. We could look at it from last year, but like nobody was ever healthy in the Cardinals last year.
Was not a
so it's impossible with the Cardinals to even look at anything like at all. It's all projection there. Everybody was hurt last year. We have an entirely new coaching staff. We got a quarterback who only played half the season with them. Like, it is all projection there. So yeah, like, and the thing about this is like Jalen Warren every year he's been a part-time back, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that the NFL as a whole, and I guess Tomlin was there every year, so it may change. But here we got 48% to 53. Let this cook for a minute. I'm going to guess it's going to be about the same, and I'm going to guess last year it'd be like Jalen Warren, like 56 versus
it was
Gainwell.
Kind of reverse.
Yeah, it would have been like
54%.
Right, and I would assume if you scaled it at the beginning of the season, it would be a higher number, and if you scaled it at the back of the season, it would be a lower number.
Yeah, in 2024, the percentages would be a little different because Najee played the full year, Warren didn't. He missed one or two games.
I mean, we could look at Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well.
Yeah, I actually think it'd be good to look at these teams. But I do think looking at the Steelers, just because, and I know you want to show the 2024. I think 2023 is more indicative, just because that was Warren's best year, and they were very close in terms of total snaps. But what you see the difference is the inside the five, and this is all the years. Like, just look at that massive difference inside the five carries. 66 to 30, 2 to 1 that's huge. And that's why at the end of the year, Najee had something like 185 points and Warren had like 155. So it's like a 2 point per game per week gap. And I think that's kind of what we should expect.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And we don't know what to think about this offense. Number one, Will Howard's currently the quarterback. Like, not a joke. Like, it kind of is. Like, I liked Will Howard coming out. I think that he should have went higher than like the 6th round, but like
Mhm.
the NFL didn't. They let him go to the 6th round.
Yeah.
I honestly think if Shadur would have went earlier, I think Will Howard would have went way before then. I think teams just refused to take Shadur. Like this is just my own gut take. I think that they refused to take Shadur, and they were waiting for Shadur to go off the board to be able to take Will Howard. Is kind of what I think the Steelers were doing.
Yeah.
Be like, well, we're not gonna hear this from our fans, so we're just gonna take a guy later. That's my opinion. Just pure vibes based, by the way. No information, just pure vibes. So we got Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren last year at basically the same exact snap percentage throughout the year.
Yeah.
And once again, passing snaps, Gainwell. And I want to look at this because we're going to go to the Bucks as well, right? Because you can kind of one for one. This you can almost one for one Gainwell with Rashad White, and I think Gainwell is just a better RB overall than Rashad. Like I love Rashad White, but like Gainwell is better than people think.
Well, and this is the thing. Like this is the first time Gainwell was kind of in an
Yeah.
even split. Like when he was drafted, they had Miles Sanders, who was a former 2nd-round pick. And he played a little bit, but then they right away bring in DeAndre Swift, former high 2nd-round pick, and then of course Saquon Barkley, former top 5 pick.
Right.
So he just had no opportunity in Philly to expand more than like a 30% role max. Where here he played with Warren, and you would have thought no Najee, Warren takes this much bigger leap. And it just wasn't the case. Warren took the bigger leap rushing, but Gainwell more than made up for that passing. So that is my concern with Warren. Is I think he without having the touchdown upside anymore. I just really worry that he's kind of back to this 130 to 150 type point season, which is fine, but that's much easier to get in drafts.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm shocked to see this 9% for Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, well, a lot was that the one game that Warren missed. Caleb played a lot, and then there was a few games where either they got blown out or they were blowing out somebody. He got like the last couple drives.
8.3. Like I'm laughing, but that's more than Jarquez Hunter. I'm like, so it is what it is. You want to go back to this 2023 season, or do we want to move on?
Yeah. I think just real quick.
Yeah.
Because I think this is much more what we're like to see with Dowdle here. And this is what I am worried about from a Warren upside, and we can talk about where the offense is going to be. But this time, both players played every game. And you just see, while the snaps are fairly even, you see Najee have a huge lead in rushing, almost essentially 65% to 40%. Passing is a 10% gap, but if Dowdle has like 40-45% again passing, that's bad for Warren. Like you need Warren to kind of get like 60-65% passing, and then the inside the 5, I'd expect a similar thing where it's Najee 82% of the snap share inside the 5, and of course sometimes they maybe play together, but that's going to be a tough path for Warren for ceiling games. Like he could have a lot of like usable 10-point weeks, 12-point games, but I don't know how many ceiling performances are in the cards for him.
And they have the same amount of team snaps, which is wild.
It's good to finally see that.
Yeah, it's good to see that. That means that's actual information for sure. All right, let's look at the Buccaneers here. 2023. Okay. I was like, what are we looking at?
I forgot we were in the wrong year too. I was like,
Chase Edmonds. What? What? Oh, we're on 2023. Got it. All right. So last year, Bucky Irving through his 10 games had a 62% snap percentage. He also seen a decent chunk, basically like, what would that be? About 40-ish percent 56.8 on snap percent on passing
in the games that he was in. Yeah.
in the games that he was in. And it was the first 10 games, obviously. And we could separate that out here in a bit.
Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't the first 10 because he came back at the end. He missed in
Yeah.
the middle. I'll look that up. Go ahead and talk through this for a second. We'll look that up.
Yeah, and we'll see when we get the actual weeks, but essentially it was more like a 56 to 44% passing. So Rashard White was not even getting 50%. Now what is and I think going to be something going forward is the inside the 5. Only 3 snaps inside the 5 in his 10 games. That's not good. That's not good for Bucky. That was always going to be an issue, even with Sean Tucker, and now you add in Gainwell to the mix. If it was just Bucky and Gainwell, then maybe it's even enough and Bucky could do it. But having Sean Tucker back, this is where things get murky, it being essentially a 3-man backfield. I mean, I think Tucker is very much just this, like, he's your, just to use a golf term, he's like your sandwich. He's only coming out at the goal line. He's only coming out if you're in the bunker. But
Man, so I don't know about you, but I bit on the Bucky Irving hype the 1 week the one day where they're like, Sean Tucker's not getting tendered. And then 24 hours later, they're like, we have tendered Sean Tucker. It's
we
like,
tendered him and
why?
we signed Kenneth Gainwell to serious money.
Yeah, like, you look at this and it's like 61% inside the 5 when all 3 were active. 61%.
That's wild.
And they brought him back.
Yeah. No, I agree. Once he came back. So before we get to the free agency portion, and it did seem like Sean Tucker was there, my thought was Sean Tucker, he's your red zone hammer, but Bucky's going to get everything else. He's going to just dominate runs. He'll dominate the passing game because White was good enough in the passing game. Tucker has like no viability in the passing game, right? 3.7% as we see here. And it'll probably be the same this year. And so there was enough of a path for Bucky, even being maybe a little light in the touchdown department, to still have a good fantasy year. Now, though, Gainwell really makes this super, super murky. Because he's as good, if not better, than Rashard White. I know you said you prefer Gainwell to White. Others may view it differently. Either way, like, we're talking as good or better. Like, we're not talking Rashard White's the clear home run there.
I think Rashad White is the better actual NFL player because he's an insanely awesome pass blocker.
Yeah.
Like, he is the best in the NFL at pass protection as a running back. Gainwell's really good at it, but he's not Rashad White, but he's a better explosive, like, he's more explosive with the ball. So for fantasy, Gainwell is, in my opinion, a little better.
No,
the problem is that the Commanders have the better offensive environment. So so, like, I don't know. Like, I kind of, I don't know, but and you look at this, like, the further out you get from the goal line, the more likely they are to use Bucky as well. Like, it was dead even inside the 10. All the way through, basically.
And that's just not great for Bucky.
That is not good for Bucky. Like he can't even get overweight on the inside the 10, like inside the 20. So, like, the 13, 14-yard runs and stuff, that's where he has to make everything. That's where he's got to get all of his touchdowns.
Yeah.
He got 3 snaps of 18 inside the 5. Like, that is bad.
No.
And they brought the vulture back. And this is excluding all the weeks that he was hurt. It's 1 through 4 and then 13 through 18. And, like, some of that might have been like when he came back, he wasn't fully healthy, but, like, it's the numbers are still the numbers. You can't do anything about it. Like, it's not like if it's only 3, and there was 10 games, that's a concern in my eyes.
If it was much closer, you could maybe poke some holes into it, but that big of a gap is not good, especially when just normally he's getting 70% of the snaps, but once we get inside the 5, it's 16%, inside the 10, 32%. Like that's less than half. Like you ideally, like a back like Bijan is getting those snap shares in every, roughly everything roughly the same, maybe a 5% difference here or there. But him getting only a third of the inside the 10 snaps, that is not good at all.
All right.
So that's why I'm just much lower on Bucky.
Yeah, I've started, like, I was lower on him the whole time, and then for one day I clicked him like 7 times, and got back to like close to even. But luckily, it was on DraftKings and Drafters were full PPR,
Okay.
and he is a little better on those sites than on Underdog as well.
Yeah.
So I still think he's going to get a decent amount of passing work, like
Yeah.
from the 20 to the 20. In a full PPR, I do think he's a better pick overall than he is on Underdog by far. Like just by far. I think he's going to get an extra 3 to 4 points, like up to like 3 points a week on.
Well, and especially DraftKings. I mean, this isn't going to be a weekly thing, but he will get that 100-yard bonus. Like he'll have 5-6 games with 100 yards.
Yeah, like it was a good bet for a while. Like it was.
Yeah.
That's the beauty and the curse of drafting all these teams so early before any information's out. Sometimes you win, sometimes it doesn't look good, and sometimes Sean Tucker ends up getting hurt and Bucky ends up taking all the snaps anyway throughout the whole season inside the 5.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you want to do the Jaguars? And
yeah, let's do
I
that.
think that's a very interesting one. Obviously, Chris Rodriguez is coming in.
Before we do that, let's answer this question that Leo asked, unrelated to the topic. Who do you think is the Marvin Harrison from last year at the 2-3 turn? I mean, the obvious answer from the start would be Rashid Rice if he's gone. But like, I don't know. I think the ADP this year is way better because number one, we're getting much higher quality wide receivers at that turn because we have like 5 more running backs going before that point.
Yeah.
So I think that it's the guys in the AJ Brown, McMillan tier that would be the ones that you're talking about more so than the actual 2-3 turn. Garrett Wilson is in that conversation, but I think that the worst ADP is probably and I think the best ADP may be in this group also. And I think it's the Luther Burden, Egbuka in that range. I think one of those is going to be like Loveland. I think one of the best picks and one of the worst picks in McConkey. One of those picks is going to be the best pick, and one of those picks may be the worst pick on the board.
Yeah. No, I think it's a fair answer for that.
It could be Tet, but so something that I know by watching almost every game, Ted McMillan had like 4 drops in the end zone, like balls that were right to him that he dropped. Like if you add 4 touchdowns to his profile from last year, he would be going at the 2-3 turn up there with Nico and Olave every time, and maybe higher. Like a lot of his lack of success, it was less on Bryce Young, and a lot of it was on him. Now, we do know that Canales is not going to run, like he's going to run the ball, and that's an offense I definitely want to look at as well. But like, yeah, it was his hands that cost him the most. And I know this by playing DFS and playing him every week and being upset every time I watch that happen.
Yeah.
So like, all right, back to the topic. We got the Jaguars here in 2025, by the way. We are in the right year.
Did you want to do all weeks?
Absolutely.
You maybe take the play. Well, we can keep the playoff if you want, but
yeah, we'll take out the Super Bowl. How's that? All right, so snaps here. ETN 60%, and then Tootin 21%, LaQuint Allen 22%, DJ Dallas at 8%, which is interesting.
Well, I think those were the games Tootin missed. So
they were.
Yeah.
LaQuint Allen is like he is absolutely a third down back. Like he's been that. And Chris Rodriguez is not that either. Chris Rodriguez is a first, second down thumper. And I do think, and I think what your point's going to be, I think that we're going to have a full rotation here to where Bashaw Tootin, I think it could be very similar to where C-Rod takes the opening snap almost every game. And the inside the 20 stuff all goes to Tootin. And C-Rod gets the 20 to 20 stuff. And LeQuint just plays all the third downs.
Yeah. This is my concern. And you know, I know there's a little difference in the games here because Tootin, I thought I only missed one, but it says two. But we just see a vast. I think people thought this backfield was closer than it was. That's how people have been drafting Tootin the whole time. And Tootin, to me, he's very similar to Bucky in that he doesn't have. Well, Bucky's a better pass catcher, but this team doesn't have a great pass catching back. But Tootin is not like a major red zone guy as we see. It was essentially 59 to 32 in terms of inside the 5. You know, that's not great when Tootin is considered the bigger back. Chris Rodriguez is going to get those carries. Like, I don't think Chris Rodriguez is going to get only 20% inside the 5 carries. Like, he is probably going to get the 55 to 60% of the inside the 5 carries. So that worries me about Tootin's touchdown upside. I think inside the 10 is, you know, maybe a little better for him, but it's just not a great outlook if Tootin can't really solidify a serious passing role.
Yeah, and that is by far the least. And they had a lot of passing snaps. Like, that's a lot of passing snaps. So I went ahead and did the whole after week 8 for the post-buy rookie bump stuff, just to look at it, just to get an idea here. I'm going to guess that Tootin's numbers are a little higher, but not much. And I'm looking at this for the first time, so I could easily be wrong. And by the way, if you're just popping in, or if you enjoy the content, please smash the like. And if you're new and you enjoy it, or you're watching on X and you also enjoy it, come over to the YouTube side, give me a sub. We're on a goal to 500 subs. We're pretty close. We need 30 more. We'll do a 12-hour live stream at that point, or after the NFL draft, but we will lock that in. And also go sub to Fanspeak Network. The description's down below. He also has a Substack, and you can just go to his video and you link that on all your videos. I usually link it. I was running late
no
day.
worries. I appreciate
so
it.
I didn't get it on there. You can go look at the Substack there as well. It's $35 a year. You get articles, you get rankings for all. Do you do for all the sites or just Underdog? All of them?
Right now we just have Underdog. After the draft, we're going to do all of them.
Okay. I thought that's what you were doing, but yeah, it's well worth it. I have the Substack. It's definitely worth it. So check them out as well and give them a sub. They're doing a 24-hour live stream and 50 subs?
Like right around 50 subs.
Yeah, something like 50 more. So, all right, back to this. So Tootin, once again, even with the post-buy rookie bump, he went from 21.1% to 23.3%, and the same exact split here with the passing stuff.
And the 23.3% is not like, you know, he's missing 2 games in the sample, but that's 23.3% of the games that he played.
Yeah, because you look at the team snaps, the other two have 689, his is 553, and he played 129. So it's just a percentage divided. It's just a dividing these two columns to make this number is all it's doing. Which is what made the Rams one weird, because why were the numbers different?
Yeah, that one didn't make any sense.
Like, I don't know. Like, I'll probably have to message them, be like, hey, guys.
Yeah, there was a data entry error there, I feel like.
It was only by 2 or 4 snaps or something.
Yeah.
But, like, still. I mean, I've been saying that, like, I like the Tootin ADP at 70. I thought it was an absolute smash pick. I know you disagreed there because you thought ETN or HN, ETN, whatever was staying. Um, I always believed he was gone. So I loaded up there and I just haven't taken him since.
Hmm.
Like I thought about it today at 57, but I see him go at the 4-5 turn all the time.
I know.
And
It's just
I'm
too.
I'm out. It's just like
Yeah.
the Waddle stuff. Like Waddle's starting to go at 40 every draft. Like I will say this: if I see Waddle in the mid 40s, I'm going to click him because I will refuse to take him at the 3-4 turn.
No,
Like,
I'm the same way. Like I've taken Tootin some as he's moved up, but
Yeah.
it's just getting too high because now he's going above Swift sometimes. Like he's going above Scatterboo, which sure there's a little risk there. He's going above Quinchon Judkins. Okay, the offense is better, but Judkins I think is a far more secure role and performed well last year. And this is the other thing. Right now we're just looking at snap share. Let's keep in mind Tootin did not perform well last year. He only averaged 3.7 yards per carry, I believe it was. So not exactly ideal to expand upon for this year.
Yeah. So speaking on that, we got his whole season here. He had 15 games, 307 total rushing yards on 83 attempts, under 4 yards per carry,
Yeah.
5 touchdowns. His success rate was reasonably high. His stuff
Mhm.
rate was fine. His missed tackles forced per attempt was fine. And everything else was fine, but nothing was great.
Yeah.
And yards per carry was low. And like if we look at the Jaguars as a whole,
It's a big gap.
there's a huge gap here, like 4.26, and he only got 3.70. Now, if we come back to this chart, we will see that Tootin got 10 of 35 of those snaps inside the red zone. So, like, yes, if you get that touchdown and the 1 yard, it makes it a little worse, especially when you have the lower snaps total. But it's not a point. What a point?
Like 0.5.
0.5, 0.55 or 0.56. So it basically an entire half a yard different per carry between the two. And I like Tootin's upside going into this year. I want to be in, but I don't like the price.
Yeah.
Is where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be tough for him to find a path for big points if he can't maintain the passing work. Like theoretically, he should have the majority of the passing this year, but LaQuint Allen won't take enough from him. But I worry that they just view LaQuint Allen as a better pass catcher, and his role ends up expanding. Versus Tootin.
I could see them adding a player in the draft too.
That too.
Like if Tony Pollard's available in a month or 2 months, wouldn't he be a clear upgrade to this room? Like,
yeah, no,
like it's something like I don't know that they would do it, but like, and I'm not rooting for it, like by any means, but C-Rod got what, 4.5 a year?
I think a little over 5.
Which is crazy because Algier, who was supposed to be a pretty solid free agent, and Dowdle, who's a solid free agent, both got 6.
Yeah.
And if Chris Rodriguez got around 5, like let's just say it's 4.5. Like if he got 4.5 and the good running backs got 6,
yeah,
like that's a good enough chunk that they've put an investment in there because they could have went out and got those better running backs for just a little more money.
Oh, I agree.
And then you add in the whole coach thing, like Liam Cohen coached him in college, all that stuff. Like it doesn't look great. And then the rumor about the RJ Harvey, like the way that the Jaguars room looked when Harvey went, then that may be meaning that the coaches and I've just seen this as a murmur, but some people think that means that the coaches didn't actually want Tootin and that the GM wanted Tootin.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I mean, you and I talked about this a little during the preseason. Is Cohen would not talk glowingly about Tootin.
Yeah.
Basically, any other rookie, any other young guy, you get really, invested in and really talk him up. And Tootin, like, I remember after he fumbled one times, he was just like, yeah, he needs to do his job. Like, he was just very quick and harsh with it. So I don't know. Like, I always thought, like, we know James Gladstone, that's been long rumored, Tootin was the James Gladstone guy, but end of the day, coaches are going to make the final decision. And it feels like, it was almost like, okay, we won't bring ETN back, but I get my guy, Chris Rodriguez. We'll give these guys a shot, see who wins it. And so maybe Tootin can fully expand, but
with all this being said, I definitely want to be in on whichever running back is the Jaguars running back. Like, I don't want 0. But like, he's probably going to be like a 4% exposure for me.
That's kind of how I feel also.
Like, because I definitely don't want to be out on the Jaguars guy. And if you fully believe on him, or believe on him, if you believe on him, if you believe in him, you should like take your shot. But like, I think the ADP is too high myself. Jerry is not a tutor either. What's up, Jerry? How we doing? If you guys aren't subbed to Jerry, he's live all the time. So is Nice and Blunt. Give them both a follow as well. Let me click that again. But yeah, I'm leery of the new ADP. Like, I liked it at 70. I thought it was a high upside, a low risk bet. And I viewed him as like, even if they got a Dowdle or even if ETN signs, like, he was going to drop like 2 rounds and go to where like Corum went. Right. And like, I was fine with that gamble because I thought the market would do exactly what it's doing. If he
overreact.
And they are overreacting like crazy this year.
Where are you taking Chris Rodriguez?
Let me bring up my ranks. I have him ahead of Woody Marks right here.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair range.
Yeah, I like the fact that Connor's going to definitely get some touches. I think I kind of like Chris Rodriguez ahead of Connor, like 1 for 1, but like C-Rod generally goes way after Connor. So
absolutely.
So I just did it that way.
No, and I think that's good. I'm debate with myself on Chris Rodriguez because I know he's no passing role, but I think there are paths. People hate this where he is just ends up with more fantasy points because he gets in this offense like 12 touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. It also seems like a team that could go running back again. Like, even though this running back class isn't like loved, like, man, the wildest thing would be that the Jaguars emerge randomly as the team with the H-Hand.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that would be wild and fun. That'd be super fun. Like, Liam Cohen with H-Hand would be where would you take H-Hand at that point?
Like 6.
Yeah. Like, he would
I think
I put him at 5.
Yeah.
So C-Rod just went at 133 in the draft you did. Nice. I've seen C-Rod go everywhere from like 110 to 185.
I know. It's maybe the widest range out there.
So unrelated to running back, where do you got Chig? Chig is like my biggest target right now. Like, I love Chig right now.
I have Chig. Let me see here.
I moved him down here, like basically one spot behind Jacoby, who I don't love. It's just quarterbacks are needed. But I moved him up quite a bit.
Where do you have him now?
Mark Andrews, some guys who I don't like to draft, and then likely Henry, Brissett, Okonkwo.
Yeah, I have him at 155. I have him right behind.
That's kind of where I'm at.
In terms of
I'm at like
in terms of
160.
tight ends, I have Juwan Johnson, then Hunter Henry, then Chig. Like likely in Andrews, I have above him. But yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty much kind of close then. Yeah, Chig loved, noted. Thanks. We getting Chiggy with it. Absolutely. All right. So, what other backfields do we want to discuss that will have a 1-for-1 like or some relevance into next year as well?
So I think
like let's go to the Chiefs.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I want to talk about Brashard Smith. I want to look at this to make sure.
Mhm.
So, Brashard Smith, we could just use the last because he was the rookie early. So we'll just use the last half. Give him the benefit of the doubt. So he played 9 games here. He had 98 snaps with only 18% of snaps. Both Pacheco and Hunt are gone.
Yeah.
He seen of his 98 snaps, 66 of them were in passing downs. And 5 of them were inside the 5, not out of 25. So they used him in close. They tried to get him touchdowns. 9 of them were inside the 45, or nine of them were inside the 10 out of 45. So how does this math? 20 snaps, 25, 5 snaps, 25, 1 snap, 9.
Well, they might have had 2 on the field at the same time. A couple times.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. So I'm gonna come over here and look up Brashard. Hopefully. Oh,
you that 50 carries or whatever, or attempts, yeah. You need to make that 0.
Yeah, but we got to remove that. All right, so I actually want to look at. I was hoping to be able to see how many times they kept him in to pass block. I'll look up that. Talk about something else. I'll go to PFF and look that up.
Yeah. So, and we'll talk about this. I'll just keep with the Chiefs. The interesting thing all along was, Hunt and Pacheco, both free agents. Could that mean a bigger role for Brashard Smith? I think, I'll be interested to hear your conclusions, but had it been like any other running back but Kenneth Walker and maybe ETN/A-Chain, I think there could have been a role, but a pass catching back was not good for Brashard Smith. If this had been Algier, if this had been Dowdle, maybe Smith still could have that passing role, a la Jerick McKinnon a couple years ago. But right now, yeah, I think it's not good for Brashard Smith. I'm pretty sure that's where your conclusion is, and I do think it's very great for Kenneth Walker because we see in being so ineffective what Kareem Hunt did last year. Kenneth Walker is just vastly, vastly better in every department. They will bring in another back, I'm sure of that, but I'm very, very bullish on Kenneth Walker.
All right, so here is pass block. You know how I keep saying that they will not let him pass block?
Yeah.
He had 2 pass block attempts the entire season.
It's pretty low.
2. I didn't know this was this low. I just said that they refused to let him do it. And it happened in the very last game. They never let him try to block for Mahomes. They don't care about Chris Ludekin. This proves they do not care about Chris Ludekin. No, but like he had 22 passing snaps, and out of 22, they only let him pass block twice. 6-0, 5-0, 1-0, 4-0, 13 pass block, pass. All of them were routes.
Yeah.
That is insane. Like I'm taking DeMarcado all the time now. Like I think DeMarcado, because DeMarcado is a good pass blocker.
hmm
And he is going to be the third down back. I think Rashard Smith is absolutely dead.
Yeah. No,
Like,
I do too at this point. Like I said, if it had been a true
absolutely.
like interior rusher, or like if they'd gone out and signed Algier, I still would have lit the candle for Rashard Smith to
Yeah, no,
have this passing role.
exactly. Like, or they like if they didn't sign, like I thought they were going to go out and sign Gainwell. Like that was my original prediction. Remember? Well, what's the second best option for that role? Well, it would have been Rashad White. Would
Yeah.
have been the best option, who was free. But we decided not to take the free Rashad White. I think that he took a hometown a discount to go play with his college quarterback.
I think
I
that, and also like he's looking at the roster and he's like, I'll get on the field with this roster. Like if he goes
Yeah.
to the Chiefs, he's just not going to. Even if Washington drafts Jeremiah Love, they're probably not going to put a rookie out there on every third down. So,
how we doing? IGXNZO. Does it make sense to completely fade Bucky at least pre-draft? I was smashing Gainwell and Tucker. I would personally like Bucky's falling now to the middle of the fourth.
yeah,
Like it's kind of perfect to just take some shares now. And if you were originally wrong, like I'm not saying like force it, but I got a share of Bucky at 42 yesterday.
yeah,
I would just like take a share or two that fall that far. And that way, if you're wrong, you have some chance. And like if you were right, like all of the all of that stuff that you already had looks good. So although Tucker's free now, like completely
yeah,
free.
totally free. But I agree. Like A, he's falling. B, it's Rashard White. I'm sorry,
Right.
Bucky
Yeah.
still probably is the number one back on Tampa. It's just, would he have paid off that 2-3 turn? Probably not. And still probably not. And it's just like if he goes to the point where, like you said, 40s or 50s, then he's competing versus the Swifts, the Scadaboos, the Judkins. Those guys don't necessarily have the 220 point upside. Swift might. Scadaboo, if everything breaks right, including not himself, he might. But, like Bucky is probably kind of capped, like 170, 180 point-ish range, just because he's not going to get enough touchdowns.
Yeah. All right. What else? Like, let's look at this one because it is a new offensive coordinator. But but it is a Harbaugh team as well, and like it's going to be weird because like everyone missed games here, everyone.
Yeah.
But Hampton got 60% of the snaps in games he played, and let's see if it goes up if you remove the wild card and divisional round. I think it was just the one. Because I wonder if it counted the single snap he got in the wild card game and like boosted his numbers way down. Bucky just being Philip Lindsay 2.0 is breaking your heart. I'm rooting for Bucky. Like I am. It just the numbers aren't making sense, and it doesn't feel like it. Every move that they just made kind of feels bad. And so, what are you doing with Kenneth Walker, by the way? Because originally I was like, man, I don't know. I really wanted to take a tackle, and like if we take a tackle, I think he's like a lock for the 2-3 or the 1-2 turn. I was kind of struggling with it at first. The more I'm thinking about it, man, like I think he goes clearly above Jeremiah Love. I think that every landing spot And like I think that if you want to argue Hampton, you can argue over Hampton. I'm probably no, I'm probably 50-50 on that now.
Mhm.
But I already had like 12% Kenneth Walker before he signed with KC. So I've kind of cooled off. Now I'm about at the field. I need to start taking some more.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Just a real quick on that. I'm kind of with you. Like at first I thought he was clearly behind Love and Barkley and even maybe Henry. Like definitely moved up to mid-second round, but kind of that tier. But now the more I think about it, I also, and I know it's just his comments, but there was a comment that he made that part of the reason he is excited about Kansas City is that he's not going to share the workload as much, So
yeah, and so he is just objectively a better pick on drafters too,
oh yeah.
because he had 50. Like I don't remember what he had last year. I mean, heck, I have the stats up right now. Let's just go look at Kenneth Walker. He had 53 receptions 2 years ago. I remember specifically. It would be under receiving. All right.
Or the bell cow report, I think will show it, but
Will
I
it?
could be wrong. Actually, maybe not.
I'll just find it real quick. But yeah, he had 53 receptions 2 years ago, and everybody was like, he was one of only like 8 running backs that had 50 receptions.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about it.
Yeah, I think he likely joins the top tier of running backs, probably still behind. You have CMC, you have Bijan, you have Achan,
Why am I
and I
doing
think
this?
he's right there in terms of passing receptions and such.
I don't know why I'm doing this the hard way. I could just go to player profiler and look at it.
And just real quick while you're doing that, the other thing for me, and you and I have talked about this a little bit, is historically Mahomes has over 300 yards scrambling yards every single season. That I'd be shocked is over 100 this year. And so that's going to be more dump offs. That's going to be more just opportunities for Kenneth Walker, I feel like.
So he had 39 receptions, it looks like. I counted them individually, so it may be off by a little. But he had 39 receptions last year. He missed a game.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's the big thing I've been thinking. It's like, man, they're really going to lean on this run game. And now they just traded for Justin Fields. And they're absolutely going to run the ball with Justin Fields at quarterback. Like the first few weeks, Kenneth Walker is probably like a top 5 pick in every daily fantasy draft. Most likely.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be crazy.
Full point PPR.
Yeah, especially in full point PPR. All right, so back to the Chargers, and I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about. We could wrap it up. We could continue going.
Yeah,
all good.
well, I think there's one or two other teams we could hit. The Chargers, like you said, this is a mess because nobody the first couple of games when Hampton played, Waddle wasn't even on the team. He was he was the fourth back. He was on the practice squad.
Because they couldn't free agent tender him because they cut him.
So, then Najee gets hurt and they bring Waddle up. Then Hampton gets hurt. Then Haskins gets hurt and Waddle gets the role. And then, finally Hampton comes back. But he's not the same. And to your point, like that one snap did change the percentage by like 4%.
Yes. Yeah, I figured it would because it was like 58%. And he came into that one game and he played one snap.
No, that was a good shout out remembering that. So
yeah.
I kind of view this. I'm just trusting more. Like, yes, historically Harbaugh has used multiple backs. Yes, historically Mike McDaniel has used multiple backs. Like we've seen that in the past with Mostert and Achane. But I think Hampton is going to be their bell cowish back. 60 plus %. Probably more in the rushing. Like passing could get balanced a little bit, but it's not like Waddle is like a major weapon in the passing game, nor is Keaton Mitchell. Like they're fine, but Hampton might actually be the best one. And I think Hampton being the bigger, more physical back will end up with a majority of the inside the 5 carries.
Yeah, the one thing that surprised me is I was looking it up on PFF. I looked at all of the pass blocking grades for the Chargers. And so pass blocking for running back, a lot of the times year 2 is just much, much better than year 1.
Yeah.
Because they got to learn so much. But Hampton was like at a 16%. Like it was awful.
Yeah.
Like, but that was like the same as like Scatabo and Travion Henderson was like even worse than those guys. Like, so I think it's more of a scheme thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so whenever they drafted Hampton, they talked about like Harbaugh just said he has a nose for the end zone. He's really good at scoring the ball. That was the exact quote. He's really good at scoring the ball, which is a weird thing to say, which makes you know that Harbaugh said it. He's good at scoring the ball. Like, like you gotta love the quotes that like you can fit a personality into, because you can definitely fit a personality into that one. But I agree. I think that their whole plan was to do that. We also seen him be explosive on some of the plays. Like whenever he was finally healthy, he was explosive.
No, absolutely. That Giants game, he had a couple big runs, one or two others, and it's tough because he came back, and yes, he came back from the injury, but it was like it was not a simple sprain. He had to have surgery to repair it. So the fact that he came back at all was incredible. And I just think going forward, I'm going to trust the draft capital. I'm going to trust the profile. Kamani Vidal and Mitchell are backups to me. Like I would be shocked if this ends up being a much closer split down the line.
I'm personally Mitchell is the direct backup to Hampton, and Vidal is the third down back. And I prefer, like, people are steaming up Keaton Mitchell right now.
Yeah, no.
I understand it. McDaniel, fast guys, awesome scheme. Do you forget that Hampton's 225 with like 4.4 speed? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like Hampton's a fast guy. He's also a big guy.
Mm-hmm. He's like Mostert. Raheem Mostert is a 220 guy with 4.4 speed. Guess what? Mike McDaniel used that in San Francisco, and he used that in Miami.
Absolutely.
Not as a 31-year-old. Like Hampton is 22.
And like right here, we're looking at the snap percentages and all that. Like, and the one thing we know is that their offensive line is going to be much, much better.
Yes.
Like we don't have snap. Like this is only snap share here that we're looking at. If we go look at the advanced rushing stuff, it's going to look bad probably because the line is going to be way different this year. So you can take some of this here. I do think that they will have a special play or two in for Keaton Mitchell.
Sure.
I do think that he's a fun piece for an offense, but like the same way that like these slot guys that only have one role are fun.
Yeah, no, I just don't think there's a lot of offensive fantasy viability. Like, sure, in regular real life football, gets a couple snaps, maybe a nice fun design play. Yeah, but
I don't know about you. I'm just in this. I'm going to full fade Mitchell, and if we hear good stuff in the post draft era, I'll just start taking him then.
Yeah, I'd taken him like a couple times when I thought he'd be the Ravens number 2, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah. Like I'm not taking him at 160, but I understand why people would. And I know like Off the Schneid is like really, I think it was Off the Schneid. No, it was BBG. BBG is 100% in. And by the way, BBG is going to be on my channel later tonight.
Nice.
He's coming on at
7:30. The one thing I will give credit for Mitchell is they did give him, it was kind of similar to the Chris Rodriguez deal.
It was
slightly a little less, but kind of the same, like in the ballpark of what Dowdle and Algier got. But I kind of view it kind of similar to you. I think that backup role is just kind of split between those two guys, Vidal and Mitchell, with Vidal having a little bit more of the passing work.
All right. Let's name another team. I know Fantasy Dog. I think it was Fantasy Dog. One of the community members It was Two Mules. Two Mules is completely out on Hampton. That's who it is. It's
Hmm.
Two Mules, like 100% out on Hampton. I understand being out on Hampton. I'm not there. I'm on the opposite side of it. All
Yeah.
I see is like it is definitely a projection.
It's a projection, but I
It's
think you and I are in that. A, he's healthier. He should be healthier. B, the offensive line is going to be healthier. And C, he gets a coaching upgrade. Mike McDaniel is one of the best run game minds out there.
yeah, and he's going to be a offensive coordinator for exactly 1 year.
Yeah. What about the Patriots? I mean, that's
actually a really good one. I've actually came around on this one over the last couple weeks, by the way, to thinking Travion is actually a pretty good pick. I'll explain why here in a bit. So go ahead and go through.
So, and we talked about this when we were doing the weekly show, is those first 5 weeks until Antonio Gibson got hurt, and it's kind of early in week 5, if I remember right. So really the first 4 weeks, it was even more of a mess of a split. But then, the Stevenson Henderson thing, everyone wanted it to be Hendo, was really the couple weeks, the 2 games, or no, I guess 3 games that Stevenson missed, that Henderson, he had like 2 really big weeks in that time. And then he had like another big game. My take on it is the ADP should be flipped. Stevenson's just going to get more work. He's going to get more valuable work, more inside the 5 work, and honestly, even more passing work, as we see here as well. So he gets all the valuable work. The bigger concern, or what I do say about Henderson is I like him in certain kind of build structures because he can be your home run hitter. If you have confidence in your backfield before and after, he can just be the spike week guy. He gives you 3 or 4 spike weeks. That's awesome. But he is not a guy who I think you should count on week in, week out, because I think there's going to be, for every 25-point game, you're going to have a 5-point game.
Yeah.
And that can sink you as much as that 25-point game can push you through.
So the reason I've kind of got to where I like the Travion ADP, I do think he's got the spike ability, and we are in a spike week game. I think down the board, there are a lot more, like you were talking about Kyle Manun guy. I think there's a lot of guys you can get projectable volume to give yourself a floor to be able to get to those spikes. But you have to be cognitive of what you're building whenever you take Travion is a thing. Like you can't just take him plus you can't just have, him with a bunch of home run hitters. Like,
no,
you just can't do that.
Yeah.
So BKGJ 2024. I get it. We went through the whole Bucks thing a little bit ago. I don't know if you're just popping in, but we had a pretty decent long talk on that.
I think the biggest thing there is kind of what we said with that last commenter who brought him up, is as long as the price is right. Like the price you were getting earlier was not great for Bucky. I think it's going to be very tough for him to pay off that price. Now, like you said, the game that we play, maybe Bucky through the course of the year is RB 23, but he just hits your lineup week 16, 17, and he is that piece you need.
That's what JCM did last year, people.
Yeah.
And he's good. And it's hard to argue that he had 3 like 3 or 4 spikes, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But those spikes matter.
Sure. Absolutely.
So as much as I want to fade it and say he was a bad pick, those spikes do matter. That is a fact. So I removed the 3 games that Ramondre was out, and we're at a 61, almost 62%, and then 35.5%. And Antonio Gibson before he died.
I think the troubling thing for Henderson is we all expected a much bigger passing role, and it just wasn't there.
Well, in the last few weeks, we've seen Ramondre back-to-back weeks with 38 and 42-yard receptions for touchdowns or whatever on the same exact design play. And and then remember, it was week 3. They had this play drawn up for Henderson. And after the game, they said, "Yeah, we drew that up for Henderson, but Henderson like done something the play before. I
He'd
think
like had a penalty, I think, or something
yeah,
like
he
that.
had a penalty or something, and he got pulled off the field, and they ran it, and Stevenson had like a 60-yard touchdown
Yeah.
pass. And it was like so it was wild. Like if that one play that Henderson got himself pulled off the field for, he had a touchdown taken away from him because I'm positive he would have ran that route and been fast enough to get there.
Mhm.
And that down the line may have ended up affecting all this stuff. But this inside the 5 stuff is insane. Like 27 of 45, like over 50, like 60%. And then Travion 11 for 45.
Mhm.
And that was them specifically putting him in sometimes, like
Yeah.
to do that as well.
No,
And
and it's just across the board is the issue. Like inside
yeah,
the 10 doesn't change much, you know.
yeah, it's all the way through. The only place it changes is actually inside the 5 to where he just gets less.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not
And Ramondre gets more, Travion gets less, and then it's the random guy gets more.
good. Yeah.
Like the Jag gets more. So and like, did they just not run running back a bunch of plays? Like I don't like I in the red zone. I don't know. But it's definitely weird that we're at 85%, and then 15% of it was just somebody not Travion or Ramondre on the weeks that they were all healthy. But I think that like with the Spike Week game, like, and Travion has shown that, and I do think that like if we're gonna give like Hampton the benefit of the doubt to be able to pick up his pass blocking this year, like I think we might as well do the same with Travion. Travion graded as a fantastic pass blocker coming out of college. He as the second best in the class to LaQuinn Allen.
Yeah.
So it's not that he can't do it or whatever. Hey, thank you, Crossface, for stopping by.
Yeah, no, it's not my thing is this just comes down to a price
Yeah.
thing because we need to be price sensitive for the market. Again, I don't want zero Henderson. It's kind of similar. I view it similar to the Harvey debate. They both have spike week upside and potential, but I want to get it at the right price is the issue.
I know I prefer the Ramondre in the 7th click to the Travion in the 5th.
Yeah.
Like it feels better. It feels stronger.
Yeah.
But the Travion click has its place.
Yeah.
Sure.
And for me, I try to do it like I did it yesterday on a stream, and I had two backs ahead of him that I loved. It was like Saquon and ETN or HN, whatever you want to call him now.
Yeah.
Something like that. And it was like, okay, I got two bell cows in front of him. He can hit my flex, he can, do that. But in the 5-point weeks, I'm still going to be fine at running back points,
Yeah.
So yeah,
And like
it's just a price thing for me.
I had so little Ramondre last year. I had so little. What a miss. You know who didn't have very little Ramondre?
With the Gritty, yeah.
Gritty had a bag. Gritty
Yeah.
always has a bag. So I do think that like Ramondre, I do think that they will do a little bit, like it will kind of lean a little more towards Travion this year. I think it'll be more like a 50-50. They did spend the capital. It is the same coach. Like Vrabel does have a history of like making rookies like wait a little bit.
Earn it. Yeah.
So like I do think that like it could be more of a 50-50 this year. And in that situation, that's why I'm like I kind of like the Travion click a little more now because I do want the more explosive player sometimes. And that running back range afterwards, like I'm completely convinced that Jeremiah Love is not going to be there for the Giants. But if he is there, and like there is a chance that I'm wrong and that they aren't bluffing and that they take Scatabo or they take Jeremiah Love and Scatabo's dead at ADP, which then I just buy more Scatabo in regular season when he's in round 12, 13. But like I think that this is kind of the similar thing. Like like the Travion thing. Like he's the same. We know that they're probably not adding anything.
Yeah.
Like it's very safe. He's not coming off of an injury. He doesn't have a new offense coming in. None of that stuff is there. He's been in the same offense for 2 years. So like I do agree that at this point, with all the uncertainties surrounding the Giants, that Travion should be ahead of him. I don't think that Swift should be behind everybody.
And I kind of feel the same with Monty. Like Monty, I think
I think Monty will flip whenever we get out of all these people had him in 110 ranges.
Yeah.
I think that Monty will be in the middle of the fifth as soon as BBM opens, basically. 39 drafts so far, 46% Henderson and 30%. I knew I'd seen a couple drafts on drafters to where he took both.
Yeah.
And like I think that's fine. I think that's very like the one thing that they do is they run the ball there. And they
run the ball and they like throwing to their backs.
Yeah.
It was more Stevenson last year, but like you said, if it becomes more 50-50, then it could both get very well involved.
And if one gets dinged up, the other one's going to be a smash for a couple weeks. And like, let's say they both miss 3 games. Like, it's probably a fantastic combo to have.
Yeah.
And like, it's not really too much. Like, especially if you have like, I don't know how you're building it, Gritty, but like, if I were to do that, and I haven't done this yet, but I do plan on it, like on a Bijan team, taking Hendo and then Stevenson. And then just having that backfield locked up behind Steve, and then taking some big
Patriots,
then just taking some shots down the board. Oh yeah, forgot about that. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm wearing all of my green.
I am wearing green, so
I'm not. Yeah, I'm all of my green. You won't. I might have green on. I don't know. I have to check off camera later. So thank you for popping in, sir. All right, so there was one other team I was wanting to look at. What was another one you were wanting to look at?
Oh, you go first. Oh, yeah.
The Jets. We will go back to all. We will look up when Braylon was hurt.
He got hurt week 4.
Okay. Well, oh yeah, I guess I could have looked at that and known. So even we'll look at it as the whole season first. So Breece Hall, like as much as we talked about how much of a committee they had, once one of them got hurt, Breece still had 63%, like which is a pretty high number.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron Glenn was all about like rotating all this stuff. He also had, they didn't have any snaps inside the 5, but he had 70% of the ones they did. Wild. He had every single one after Braylon got hurt. Every one. Oh no, I guess not. No. I'm real good at math, guys. So yeah. So he had 2. Like it was probably 1-1, and then he missed a game. He almost had every one basically whenever he was hurt. But yeah, that's 70% either way is wild, right?
Oh,
and then it like the inside the 20 stuff, like they would let another guy come in for a little bit there. But Isaiah Davis, the third down back there, I like his role. I like him as a player. It's just such an ugly situation out there.
Yeah, I do wonder how messy it gets. Actually, I think could you look at just the first 4? Just look at the first 4 weeks. I think that would be maybe the best thing.
I was going to let's see. I was going to do that in a minute, but had to individually click all this. I'll not take the time to click the playoff games. We don't really have to remove those.
They removed themselves from.
Yeah, it's an auto filter. It's Loading.
So yeah, my concern with Davis is I don't know what to do with the Jets number 2 back because I feel it ends up
Well,
being
I think Braylon Allen at 210 is like a really fun click. Like
yeah.
it, I kind of liked it in the 170s, but I thought Brees was going to get traded. But like even if he doesn't, like I do think that Geno Smith makes all of the Jets more clickable.
A little bit. Yeah.
Like they have a solid offensive line there. They didn't have any quarterback that could even come close to playing offense. They're at least going to have some semi-competent quarterback play this year. I think that they're going to be like they have an absolute stud wide receiver in Wilson. Mason Taylor is a pretty solid guy for a year one tight end last year. They have some pieces, and Brees Hall is a really good talent. Um, I think that their offense could be. I'm not saying he's going to be top 10 offense, but like, could they crack the top 20? Maybe. Like, do I really believe they're going to? Not really, but if I don't know, what would you say? Like 35%? Like, it's like not likely, but it's very possible. If Geno Smith can like even be competent, that
Yeah.
they have a reasonably good offense, like a reasonably like not good but okay offense.
Yeah, I
Like
guess
it's not gonna have 17 total snaps inside the 5, basically.
I think the thing is there's just so many chances for failure, right?
Yeah, there are.
The head coach could get fired. Frank Wright could be terrible. Geno could be what Geno more last year than the previous years. Or if Geno gets hurt, are we going back to Brady Cook?
Yeah. Oh no, there's a lot of
Yeah.
uncertainty here, and I'm not
Yeah.
like slamming the table for these players, but in the 18th round where you can get a number 2 back for an offense that has shown that they're willing to rotate to some degree,
Mhm.
and a guy who got
Yeah, I like
50.
Allen over Isaiah Davis is where I'm at. But
Yeah,
I like that he's fallen. The best thing for Braylon Allen has been Brees Hall coming back because I think enough people were thinking Brees Hall's gone. Let's take Allen now, and that just wasn't feeling good. Him falling now, he's much more clickable in my book.
I have some Isaiah Davis from when I thought Hall was getting traded. So
Yeah,
and I don't think Isaiah Davis is like a horrible click either.
I
Am
just
I
don't know if
making
there's
it anymore?
enough fantasy upside there because he gets like
Probably not.
30% of the passing. He's like the LaQuint Allen, just maybe not as good as LaQuint Allen.
I mean, if Brees Hall gets hurt,
sure, like that. That's
like
what I'm saying.
like I mean, it's one of those. It's not really that much different. It's a thinner contingent play. Like, because
Yeah.
I think they'd be more like a 50-50 with Davis and Allen, like it shows here. If
Mhm.
Brees got hurt, and anytime they're going to do a pass play, they're not putting Braylon in,
No.
right? They're not putting Braylon in those. So any third down, Isaiah Davis is going to play for sure. And anytime they want to like do a gimmick, like I don't know how Isaiah Davis is in pass blocking, but I would assume that like they would want him in on all the pass plays if
Yeah.
Brees goes down. And Brees has been hurt before, so
Absolutely.
and they all play at MetLife.
Oh, jeez.
Like not trying to root for this, but yeah. In the immortal words of Lutz, Geno is ass. So that's a gimmick we have going in my Discord right now. Like whenever we talk about a player, Lutz pops up out of nowhere and goes, "This player, X player, is ass." And then he says something, and then I make a Kyler Murray joke, and he tells me he hates me. It's a good time. It's a good time. It's like, yeah. So, while like this is interesting, like because it felt like it was a lot worse than this, right? Like a 60, because this is a 60-40 still.
It is. Yeah.
And yes, they were pulling him out whenever, right? They were doing like the inside the 20. The thing is like they were pulling him out inside the 10 and inside the 20 for like
Mhm.
for everybody else. Because Braylon had a bunch of inside the 10 snaps, like equal amount, and the two of the other, like he had 9 of 26 inside the 20. So like Brees is an explosive runner, and like that's kind of something he can do, or those 20-yard pops, like is like kind of where he can shine. So I think that matters a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I still have a tough time with Brees at ADP, but it's just because the offense as a whole might not have enough scoring upside there. But I like him. I think he's
Yeah.
a really talented player. It's just he's stuck on one of the worst
So
teams.
you remove those 4 weeks with Braylon there, and he has 67 of 118. So he went from what 33% to 56% inside the 20.
Yeah.
So like, and now this is a new offensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn isn't calling plays, but Aaron Glenn continually talked about wanting to rotate backs
Mhm.
last year. So I don't know if that came from him just supporting his offensive coordinator, which he fired along with every other person he hired. Uh, but, but but we'll find out. And I do think that it's very volatile of him possibly just being gone too.
Yeah.
All right. Who's next?
I mean, there's like you said, there's so many that are tough to
Yeah.
project out. I would
Like the Giants are really tough to project out
yeah.
because they got the entirely new system. Like they do have Patrick Ricard there, so like whoever it is going to be awesome. Likely, apparently, is a better pass blocker than I thought, or a run blocker, stuff like that. And if Love goes there, he's probably like, I'm having a hard time. Like, what do you do with Jeremiah Love if he goes to the Giants? Because I originally was like, man, I think he gets tanked, and I'm like,
I
it's
don't think
still
he
a
gets
running quarterback. It's like
yeah. I
I
don't think
think
he
I
gets
think his ADP is about right if he goes there.
I think it
And
should go more to the 2-3 turn then.
yeah,
Like I think Washington is definitively a better spot. I
oh,
think
it
I think
is.
even the Titans are probably a better spot just because
I agree with that,
I think
and
Pollard
very
will
few
be
people
gone
do.
there.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Because
because
I think if he goes to Titans, he is the clear 1A.
yeah,
Not that he won't be with the Giants, but the Giants have two reasonably competent backs behind him.
and also Scatterboo, like the Titans, like I think we'd both assume Pollard's gone, and Tosh Spears is still there, and Spears can be a good passing back, but he's not really an inside the 5 back. Where
Yeah,
Scatterboo could steal some goal line
yeah,
carries, he could steal
that's
some passing work.
exactly what I'm thinking.
So he could steal enough to, just to lower Love's floor, not drastically, not like
Yeah,
this is some major issue.
it wouldn't be that he's killing Jeremiah Love by any
Yeah,
means. It would be that it would be the Sean Tucker Bucky thing,
it,
possibly like
it's
that
more like
could
it just
happen.
makes it so much tougher for Love to outscore Barkley, Henry, Hampton, Walker,
Walker.
those other
Yeah,
backs in the early second.
yeah, exactly. And like if he goes to Tennessee, although they don't have the elite offensive pieces around them, like, and the Giants will probably score more total touchdowns, which might negate that a little bit. But it's hard. It's hard to tell. I think I would prefer him on the Titans,
Well,
but
I personally prefer Dable over Nagy, but
well, yeah, I definitely prefer Dable over Nagy. Uh,
so
but
um,
I'm a KC fan. Giants fans probably would prefer Nagy over Dable. So,
maybe
like, because they've lived their hell. I've
their
lived my
experience,
hell.
yeah.
So like, that's probably what's going on there.
One that I thought to look was the Vikings with both Aaron Jones and Mason coming
That's a
back.
good one.
The quarterback play would be vastly different, but we
And we're
know what
back
we
to
got
all
here.
weeks and the correct year. So
Yeah. So there were, nobody played a full season, so there's some missing there, but um, I think Jones and Mason are. This is probably the kind of split that we're looking at, just with ideally a much better offense.
yeah. So Number one, Aaron Jones got the same kind of money that like Chris Rodriguez and them got, so they want to use him. Jordan Mason was actually, I think he was more efficient. Like if we look at the efficiency stuff from last year, like it felt like Aaron Jones was better, but like the missed tackles for stuff and I think we're way in. Yeah, Aaron Jones
Yeah.
0.09. And
Yeah.
Jordan Mason was actually high again. And like I remember distinctly, like more missed tackles forced per attempt. Mason was one of the highest in the league the year in San Francisco, which is one reason why a lot of people were so high on him going into that year with Minnesota, who was supposed to have an offensive line who didn't have an offensive line. And if you go to yards per carry, he's also higher.
Yeah, yeah.
Like by quite a bit. So like he was the better back, but it's weird because when Aaron Jones was in the game, it felt like the offense played better.
Well, I do think two things. One, the difference with Aaron Jones as a receiver helped.
Yes.
Also, Aaron Jones is pretty solid pass blocker. I didn't look at their numbers last year, but just historically.
So this is weird. Like Jordan Mason had more passing snaps, I guess.
Well, that's because he had 4 more games.
Was it the last 4 that he missed?
No, Aaron Jones missed games in the middle.
Okay, I'll find him. Uh-oh. Am I still here? Okay.
Yeah, you're here. I think
my entire PC just went black for a second.
Oh, jeez.
So
I think the interesting thing,
it basically my connectors are loose, I think. But yeah, we're good. We're good now.
The inside the 5 snaps, I think, is pretty interesting because now total number Mason had more, but essentially they're very similar given the 4-game difference between the two. Mason, where he's climbed up to ADP, is fine, but I still actually think Aaron Jones is the better value, like 30 spots later.
I kind of agree.
But my biggest thing is this offense was just not functional last year. It was just so inefficient as a whole because the quarterback play was so horrendously bad. When Carson Wentz is your best quarterback, that's bad. When he's your best quarterback by a mile, it's terrible,
And like both of them being over 4 yards a carry with those quarterbacks and that offensive line not playing well on top of it is awesome. Like that's very positive for like if they get somebody there. Like people like I had some people hating on Kevin. It was actually my guest yesterday. He's a Vikings fan, JC over on Sports Affiliation, and he was like just dogging the KOC. Like he doesn't like he doesn't like KOC. He thinks he's a bad like he doesn't think he is good enough at adjusting at halftime and stuff like that. Which I don't recall that specifically. And he doesn't think that he's that good at calling plays and stuff. I just kind of disagree with that, but
yeah, me too.
But like, I don't know. I asked him how close he lived to the stadium. I was like, depending on how close you live to the stadium, I'll listen. With my normal troll.
My thought was, I think Kevin O'Connell was one of the better play callers. I also think we've seen both with Darnold and Kirk Cousins. Remember this was Kevin O'Connell's first year. That comeback from the Colts, it's like 2022, where Vikings were down like 35-3 or something like that, and Cousins led them back to a win. Like, talk about second half adjustments. Like, there have been some big comebacks both from Cousins and Darnold. So it was just, last year they couldn't do anything.
Yeah, no, not really at all. But
I'm sure you've seen the reports where they had to throw out a large portion of their playbook because McCarthy just couldn't get it.
Yeah, it was really bad there for sure. But yeah, I'm surprised to see. So Jordan Mason, whenever we removed the games that Aaron Jones missed, the passing snaps drastically changed.
Yeah.
Which was expected. But like Jordan Mason getting way less snaps than Jones last year, like it felt weird. Like you definitely seen it, and it looked like it always felt like to me when I was watching the games that when Mason was in there, it was just kind of dead. And I wonder what was the one game, because actually, let's go back to this and remove those weeks as well. Because I bet if you remove the one overseas game, which
Mhm.
Mason had the massive game, that his yards per carry drastically lowers because it's 4.77 now. I don't remember what week that was. I'm going to look it up right now. Tell me.
4 or
tell-
5, I think it was. Actually, his yards per carry went up here.
Did it?
Yeah.
It was week 3 and it was Cincinnati. So it did go up. Yeah. Wild.
Was that the game overseas? I thought they played Steelers
Yeah.
and Browns overseas. I thought.
Yeah, that was the next 2 weeks. So he had 23.6 points versus the Bengals, and then 10.2 and 12.6 versus the.
But those were the two
Steelers and
overseas
Browns.
games.
Yeah,
It
was the week before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he dunked on the Bengals defense.
Yeah, he dunked on the Bengals defense. But that's out of this. That's actually out of this.
Mhm.
Shocker! Somebody dunked on the Bengals defense.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I'm really surprised to see that his yard per carry went up with that. I did not expect that at all.
No, honestly, neither did I.
That's why I want to look at this stuff just to kind of get an idea.
Yeah, and like I think there's still a role for Mason, but I honestly think their ADP should probably be flipped. Like Aaron Jones in the 120 range, Mason in like the 140, 150 range. Because what scares me is the inside the 5. In these 12 games when they were both on the field together, you would not think it was. Obviously, there's some snaps there where they're both playing together, but 57% to 48%. You would think Mason would dominate there, and he didn't.
And then inside the 10, it was Jones considerably.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was even inside the 20.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm pretty. I've liked the Aaron Jones price. He is like in all of the. I stream probably 70% of my drafts, and Aaron Jones tends to go early in all of mine. So I don't know how much Aaron Jones I have. I know that I was clicking him a lot one week, and then the next week I couldn't get him at all. I got 7.8%.
It's a little less than that, or a little more than I have, but I'm like 6. I think it was 6.8.
Yeah, I just believed the whole time that they were going to get some quarterback to be fine.
Yeah, no, and that is, I think that's the biggest thing is just the offensive environment should be better. Yeah. I think that ends up favoring Jones more than Mason. Is just kind of where I'm at with it.
All right, who goes to IR first, Aaron Jones or J.K. Dobbins?
Ooh, I'll say Dobbins.
I mean, Jones never goes to IR. Dobbins always goes to IR, so I'm going to say Dobbins. Jones always misses the most games. I guess he does. I guess he does do the 4-game IR.
Yeah.
I mean, so with me and the Vikings, like I was always looking at it as they're gonna have a more competent offense. They kept talking about it. I just wanted, like, I took a bunch of Mason. I took a decent amount of Aaron Jones. Like I just took Aaron Jones almost every draft when he was going to 180.
That was the right way to play it.
I was like, well, he's signing somewhere. I didn't think it'd be back with the Vikings. I do think the Vikings are extremely live to add Jonah Coleman, Katron Allen, Emmett Johnson, or like a Mike Washington. I think that they are very, very alive to add one of those guys.
No, I think
And Flyfish was typing it as I was saying it. Like this is the spot where you want it. Like I do agree. Like, and this is where I've had Emmett Johnson go in. Like if the Vikings could get Emmett Johnson in the fourth, even in the third, like I let's say he goes in the fourth, but Emmett's the one that goes to the Vikings. Like Aaron Jones always gets hurt. Aaron Jones probably like be willing to teach somebody. Like he's an older guy. He knows he's not got much. Like he probably would like the free paycheck, like, hey, yeah, go do your thing, man. Like that's how I am at my job. Like whenever I learned everything, it's like, yeah, just let me go tell people what to do and then watch them. And then I make the money and then I watch them work. That's the way to do it. But anyway,
yeah.
I mean, Jonah Coleman would fit that off. Like, I think Jonah Coleman in the third would make a lot of sense for him. I don't think that like Singleton, I don't know. Singleton would probably be a fun pick in like the fifth round for him as well. Like, I don't think it really matters. Like Claiborne I like Claiborne a lot. We got a Claiborne question earlier. I've been thinking by Leo. I like Claiborne. I questioned he has the insanely high, like one play touchdown upside. It is a thin bet though.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a thin bet, but when it works incredibly well.
I think it's fine where he's still going. Like if he had moved up, then I would have been out, but you can get him like 18th, 19th round. That is
I put him to like 190 and got up to 21%. And then I just moved him all the way back down. I just mix him in now. Like 17% or something, which it still feels too high. But I still have 45 drafts left. So I'll probably be at 15% or something whenever I'm all said and done. All right. Are we done?
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of the more interesting backfield situations.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. Go ahead and give people a shout, like where they can find you, all that, and then I will go through my stuff as well.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at SteveOSpeak. You can find me on YouTube at Fanspeak Network. Like you mentioned earlier, we have Substack, we have free Discord. You can check those out as well. Links are in the descriptions to any of our videos. But yeah, give us a sub for our YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 1,000. We're just about 50 away there. So excited about that. And I do best ball drafts pretty much daily as well.
Nice. Yeah, I'm always over there listening whenever I can. So tonight here in 3 hours, I'll be back on with Best Ball Guy. He's coming on live. I'm sure. I'm assuming we'll do more than one draft. I don't know. I will be doing more than one draft either way. And then tomorrow, I'm stealing your employee, and Bruni will be over here.
Nice.
So, got a couple guests the next couple days. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. If you're new, please hit the sub. Also, go sub to Steve there over at Fanspeak. Also, smash the like. Thanks everybody for coming out. Have a great day. Peace.
Hey, we're grinding through the torment. High volume, no management. Taming souls indecent. Grinding drafts through the abyss, no rest in our veins. Feel striking like lightning, flooding endless pains from late season voids. He's dropping all the flames. Best ball legions unite, shattering the chains. Old school RB stacking fury, derailing trendy trains. Who is commanding the storm etched in our brains? Who? Hey, thunder in the names, claiming all the kills.